Well, this is Kevin Min with Outside the Games. I have a wonderful interview here for you today, and I'm glad you're joining us. We have a quarterback, yes, a quarterback, class of 2021 out of Lewisville High School in Dallas, Texas. He is a Boise State Bronco commit. Yes, Boise State's got a special player headed their way. We have, hey, Mr. Taylen Green. Taylen Green, thank you so much for being on our show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, well, Taylen, we start out with family. We think family is a very big, important piece to what makes Taylen Green. It's on and off the field, and that's what kind of what we
hmm
get into about the student athlete. There's the academic side, and there's the person who you are side. So, just let's start out with family. What does family mean to you, and how would you define that?
I would say my family is my backbone to me. They've been there when I was at my lowest and at my highest. They've humbled me, especially with blood, sweat, and tears. They've been giving me tough love and telling me when I was played really good and when I played really bad. But I would say family, um, that's who builds who you are. That's especially my family. I'm blessed to have two parents that and believe in God and um, pour that into me and just have a strong faith and just have faith in Him and have faith in what talents that He bless you with.
You know, that's I love that definition because the parents do play such a huge role. Uh,
hmm
there are two parents, mom and dad, so they
Yeah.
each have their own role that they play in your life. Let's start out with dad first. You know, what role does your dad play in your life to help you be the best on and off the field, Taylor?
I would say my dad plays the role of, like I said, knowing when I play good, knowing when I play bad, but he's more of the stay humble, just continue to work. He's always you gotta keep grinding, don't never be satisfied.
Yes, and then important piece to that because the grind is always nonstop,
Always. Yeah.
right? I mean, if it's not a test you have to master and pass, it's a quarterback read to your receiver or making
Exactly.
a play on the field. Your mom, though, what role does your mom play? Because they each play little different roles here
hmm
in your life. But tell me about your mom.
Oh, I would say she's my biggest supporter. She goes all to my games, and when I play a bad game, she's always there. Like, it's okay, you got him next time, and just all you have to do is work harder. Don't don't dwell on the past. Just always look to the future, and she's always been there for me and just my biggest supporter.
You know, and Taylor, it's the process, right? You know, there's a process when it comes to say the recruiting and school and your personal life. uh yes, you do have chores at home, yes.
Yeah.
So there's the process of that. How do they balance you out in that process to make sure that you stay on track with what you got to do?
um, I would say at an early age, they really didn't. How would I word this? I would say at an early age, they told me what to do, like do this, do this, do this, and but as I getting older, it's a habit now. So they give me more responsibility and more freedom, but I still do it. I still like they told me at a young age, set your priorities and do your priorities and do your chores first before you hang out. Do your work first before you hang out. Like, grind before you hang out. Hangouts last.
And with that, I think the thing is that where they help balance you out
Yeah,
with you as a person is because they're leading by example. They're
exactly.
providing an example. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we talk a little bit about your mentors. I think mentorship is such a huge piece to your development. Tell me who your mentors are and why, Taylor.
Um, I would say my biggest mentors is my dad because I look up to him and I see how focused he is. When he wants a job done, I see how focused he is. I would say my sister because she's in college right now and she's a student athlete. She's plays basketball for Louisville. Um, then I would say my trainers, my QB trainers, and my um, head coach. and my strength conditioning coach at Lewisville, Coach Underwood. So I have a lot of mentors, but that's not a bad thing.
No, that's not a bad thing. It's an extension, and I like how you added your sister in there because again, she's
Yeah.
the oldest, and she's kind of showing you somewhat the path. I mean, she's at Louisville playing basketball, women's basketball.
Mhm.
Somehow she's providing you that guidance when it comes to getting ready and prepared for from high school to college.
She just saying when you get to college, it's no joke. You got to be on it. You got to bring it every day. And she just told me just go to the right school. Like it doesn't matter if it's far away because Louisville is pretty far too. So she's just been guiding me on that, and she said academics first, academics before academics before football, academics before basketball.
That's sound advice. Sound
Yeah.
advice. Looking at we're looking at the you as a student. So at Louisville High School, what take me through what that high school is like. Now, remember, Taylen was going 2 years prior to Allen High School and then transferred to Lewisville High School. So we're talking Lewisville High School. What was the academics like for you? Did it present a challenge for you from what Allen presented for you? Take me through what that academic piece was for you.
Um, I would say it was different because at Louisville we have four classes every day, and we go there for a semester. Rather than Allen, we had 8 classes, and we would go every other day. And I would say at Louisville, it's easier to get ahead. That's why I'm graduating early. I'm gonna be graduating December and early enrolling to Boise. So I would say it was a little different, but I got used to it, and I use that to my advantage.
Oh, that's good. Um, the relationship with the teachers, that's something that, a lot of people overlook.
Hmm.
What was your relationship like with your teachers at Louisville?
I would say it's positive. All my teachers love me because I just love to ask questions. If I don't get a subject, if I don't get the paper, I'm always asking questions, and if I don't get it, I'm always the first one in tutoring. I'm always like tutoring's not bad. Like people, oh, you're going to tutoring. No, like I want to do good on my test, and I want my GPA high. And so I noticed that my teammates was going to touring too because I was going. So it was just good, and my coaches noticed it, and they were just glad that glad that we were all doing it together as a team too.
You bring something up nice. I like how you brought that up about tutoring because sometimes people kind of think tutoring, oh, he's not very smart, so he has to go get
Yeah,
tutoring. That's the thought process with some people on that and what they think about it. But you look at it and your view is like, look, I want to be the best at my
exactly.
academics. If it's I'm having a tough time, maybe not understanding a formula in math, and a tutoring can help me, or preparing for a test. So it tells me, Taylor, that your preparation, taking tutoring seriously, is something in your toolbox that you can add to
Exactly. Yep.
make you better. Right?
Exactly.
Right on. Right on.
Like my parents always say football is a microcosm of life. So you train Monday through Thursday for the game. Why don't you train Monday through Thursday on the test? It's the same.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. You never stop. Right? You never stop.
Never stop.
So your relationship, let's go talk a little bit more about the relationship with the teacher. Is that, there's a way that you have to be in order to have the teacher
Hmm.
successful in the classroom, because the classroom is like the field. I mean, when you
It
quarterback
is.
the field, the classroom is kind of like that. What do you have to do to make the teacher successful, Taylor?
I would say always pay attention. Not always like when the teacher say you can be on your phone, be on your phone. Always listening because especially if you're the QB of the high school, everybody knows you. Everybody's looking to you. Oh, if he's on his phone, if he's not paying attention, oh, I'm gonna do the same thing. So you always have to be the role model for everyone because they're always looking at you. Even the teachers know that you're the role model, and everybody looks at you.
And they do say that, try to sit in front of class because, again, I'm not going to
Yep,
look at what's behind me. I'm going to be
exactly,
the role model, and I'm going to be that example, right?
exactly. Yep.
What does the teacher have to do though? Let's reverse that. Reverse that role. When it comes to the teacher, what does the teacher have to do to make you a successful student, Taylor?
Oh, that's um always be willing to go the extra mile, I would say, and just being very descriptive and detailed, and yeah, just willing pretty much.
I mean, does a teacher, and we don't leave teachers out. Let's be clear here.
Yeah, we
We
don't.
don't
We
leave
don't.
teachers out. They got to work too. They got to earn that.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is that I bring out about that is that sometimes with a teacher, every teacher has a different style of teaching, right?
Hmm.
And with that style, there's a certain style that you appreciate about the teacher, like say a motivated style or an
Yep.
energetic style that the teacher brings to the classroom because they're trying to earn it. They're trying to present their material the way they can. Kind of the same thing that you're trying to do on the field. You're trying to put a point,
Exactly.
see the defense, get it to your
Yep.
receivers, right?
Exactly.
So looking at the take me through what Lewisville High School is like, though. You know, the community of Lewisville. It's in Dallas, Texas. Again, we have class of 2021, Taylen Green with us, quarterback, who is a Boise State Bronco commit. Go Broncos for him.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
so tell me through Lewisville, what is Lewisville High School? If we were to give us an insight of what that is like.
Um, when you hear Louisville, it's definition community. It's just a really big community. Even teachers that teach in Louisville, they went to Louisville. Some play on the football team, some play on basketball team. It's crazy. Like when we played our rival, there was like, come on, Taylor. When we was playing, we beat them. Y'all got to beat them this year. So it's crazy that teachers that teach right now played and went to Lewisville at their time. So it's just a really big community. And like I did PALs. I was in PALs last year, and I would go to elementary and junior highs, and they knew who I was, and teachers knew who I was. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice part there though too is that Taylen Green, do you try to make it a point of trying to give back? You mentioned community, and I believe
Hmm.
community is really, really important. Do you try to make it a point of trying to give back to the community, especially the community that supports you?
Yes, we do. Especially the football team, we go out and help the community. And every Christmas, we have this thing called we give presents to our community. We did it last year. It was so many gifts, so many gifts. But it feels really good to give back to the community because they give so much to us, especially supporting us on Friday nights. Because without the fans, it would be really really boring, and then it wouldn't. That's half the game right there is the fans. They give you energy when you don't have any.
Yeah, that is, and I think with that energy comes the fact that that support structure that they give you and they do for you. It
Hmm.
gets you to be, hey, I feel better about myself. It's a little bit of confidence, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It gives. Yep.
So with Louisville, what was the difference between, a lot of times, take us through the transferring. A lot of times with high school student athletes, they're transferring from one school to another. Sometimes that happens. It presents
Hmm.
different, you know, differences, in regards to situations that change. But there's a lot to be said when it comes to the academics, say from where you went from Allen to then Louisville, and then really from the classroom, the classrooms we're talking about, the school layout, but even more so the team football. And
Hmm.
you do participate in track as well. So take me
Yes,
through
sir.
what that transferring is and how you viewed that, what went into that, how difficult was it if it did present challenges?
Um, it prevented a couple of challenges because I came in the summer, and I didn't know the offense yet, so I was just in film room with my coach all the time, and I was just asking questions like playbook. I need to study it day and night. And I would just say for the team, it just prevented. It was a challenge, but it was a good challenge because it's gonna be like how I'm gonna be in college. I'm starting fresh, so the first day I was just trying to be that leader for them because a new QB coming in, they don't really know me, I don't know them, but I was just trying to lead by example. Then after I lead by example in 2 weeks, like a couple weeks, then I'm gonna start talking. I'm gonna start being vocal to them, like because I don't know how they respond to yelling. Because some people like don't respond well to yelling, and like most people, some people, like the same people, um, do better with encouraging. So I was just figuring that out, and I just Like 3 weeks gone by, I got voted captain, so I was really thankful for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That is so cool to hear. Uh, when you look at as a quarterback, because let's talk about your position. It's somewhat like you're trying to master a test or trying
yeah.
to handle a certain maybe your class. Take first of all, let's go back to this though. The aspect of school. What is Taylen Green's favorite class? It's in high school.
My favorite class, either math or science.
Okay,
Yeah, math
okay,
or science.
yes. Um, what's your least favorite class?
Least English.
Oh wow, wow. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
And
I
why
don't
so?
like it.
Why so?
I mean, I I I don't really like to read, but I would read. Like, if I prefer either doing like reading, not reading, but doing science or reading a book, I'll do science.
Right, right. You're kind of a visual person though too, right? You like to
Yes,
see things.
I like the visual. Yep.
There you go. There you go. That's what I kind of thought. So let's get to the QB part of things that as far as the quarterback goes. Being a leader on the field, what are the kind of characteristics the quarterback has to have when leading young men and your peers on the football field? What do you have to possess for you?
I would say the number one thing is confidence. You got to have confidence being on the football field and being leading a team. Because if you don't, especially on the football field, you're gonna get hurt or it's gonna show. Even when you think you're wrong, you gotta show confidence that you're right.
Yeah. I
So you
mean,
just got
well, I mean, the thing is too is that when you're leading, they look. I mean,
they
let's
look at you. Yep.
they look to you. What is your facial expression? They look at everything. How you react
Mhm.
to say if you're down by 10, what are you relaying to the
Got
team, right?
Yeah, you got to keep encouraging. Like our coach says, you got to bring the juice. You got to bring the juice. Even in practice, you got to bring the juice. You might be tired. You might be tired from all the classes, but you still got to bring the juice. It might be 110 outside. You still got to bring it. You still got to bring the energy, and it just feeds off to the whole team. And it's funny. Our team just starts dancing and just having a great time because practice. If you walking around, practice is boring. But if you have that energy, practice goes by fast, and you're focused too. You're just getting better.
What characteristic does poise? When you talk about poise, that description of poise, how important is that to a quarterback?
Oh, it's very important, especially especially when you have 230-pound D. No, not even 230, probably like 300-pound D lineman coming at you. You got to have poise in the pocket. You got to stay in the pocket. You got to deliver the throw. That's what comes with QB. Even in overtime, you got to have poise. You can't get shattered. You can't fold. That's what we say. You can't fold. You
I
gotta
mean,
have ice.
quarterback,
Yeah.
not everything goes your way, and
Not
that's
everything goes
not
your way.
not
Exactly.
everything goes your way. So when you talk about poise, give me an example of poise that you had on the football field.
Um, I would say against Flower Mound, I had an 80-yard touchdown get called back, and I was I was tired, but coach was like, "Come on, you gotta get back in. We need you." And huh? It got called back. Then I just led my team to score again. So just had poise then, and I would say against Marcus, um, we had a couple of false starts, and you can't let that get in your head.
It's funny you say that because when you talk about false starts, and those are the plays we've heard this said, self-inflicted wounds, right?
Yep,
And
exactly.
teams, but it may not be you that makes the mistake. It's a
That's
teammate.
it.
So
Yep.
how do you view that? I mean, you have to have some serious poise when it comes down to, okay, we just gained 30 yards, but now we got
Exactly.
two uh, false starts, and now we got to come back. I mean, what's that do to a person's mental state? When on the football field.
Especially on the football field, especially in game day, it makes his confidence go really bad. It makes him start thinking more. But especially with a poised QB, you got to keep encouraging him. You got to keep encouraging because the QB can't shine without him. This is like football is a team sport. You can't look good if a center can't snap it. You can't look good if a tackle false starts. You can't look good if a receiver drops the ball. So you just got to keep encouraging. You guys just got to keep encouraging. Get on them every now and then, but more encouraging, especially on Friday night.
Is Taylen Green because there's two things that describe maybe Taylen Green, and we'll talk about these two things. One being a vocal. Are you more of a vocal leader, or are you kind of that person that leads by example, or both?
I'm a little bit of both, but I would say I'm more of lead by example. I will talk. I'll be vocal when I have to, but I'm more encouraging. But if I have to get on you, I'm gonna get on you. But I'm more lead by example and just yeah, I would say lead by example.
Yeah, give me an example of what it was like to maybe you saw a teammate down, and this can transcend to school in the classroom too when it comes to academics. But when you saw a teammate that was down and his confidence was down, what do you do to kind of build that confidence back up for your teammate?
I would say when my teammate fumbled and it was a crucial down, but I just say, "We need you, bro. We need you. We need you. We getting the ball back. I have confidence in our defense. We're gonna get it back, and we're gonna score." And he got his helmet up because he slammed his helmet. I was like, "No, you can't let the defense know you're frustrated because that's what they're looking to."
That's smart. Good advice.
Yeah,
I know he
yeah,
appreciated that.
yeah. He did.
Um, Now we're talking about your season and what
Hmm.
your season in Lewisville was like. Take me through a little bit what Lewisville season was like and how that looked for you this year. Again, we're dealing with COVID-19, so things have just been kind of crazy when you're talking about what's going to hold for 2021. But for 2020, 19 to 20, and what that looked like for your time at Lewisville, how did that go for you guys as a team?
I would say last year, um, I feel like we could have done better, but I feel like we made so many little mistakes that's what caused us to be 7-4. But I feel like especially the people that played last year that's coming back, we're learning. We learned from it, and we know we can't take the little things, like people say the devil's in the little things. Um, so especially like not touching the line when we're doing suicides, like no, we got to touch the line. We got to we got to finish what we say, what we do extra sets. We do extra reps. Say if we got 8 on squat, we'll do 9 or 10. We had to. We're trying to do big things.
I mean, isn't it the little things that bite you in the butt? I mean,
Yes.
you don't do it the right way, and you don't go the extra. It's those little
Yep.
things in game day that may come up to bite you.
Exactly. Yep. Our coach was saying that all last year, and some of the people didn't listen, especially yeah, some of the people didn't listen, and we saw the results. We saw the fruits of our labor,
I mean, the goal
and
was
we
obviously to get to state and to
exactly. Yep.
state, but 7-4, you kind of saw that a team has to be all in. You have to buy
Yep.
into the system. You have to buy into the coach. But if you have some stragglers that are not there,
Exactly.
that makes it kind of difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, we have the pieces. We have, I would say, the most talent in DFW. We definitely have the pieces. We just have to, like you said, be all in and just one team, one heartbeat.
I love that. I love that. Uh, let's talk about the coaches and how they help you, Taylen, especially from a quarterback position. Tell me how important the coaches are to you, to your development, especially at Lewisville.
Oh, they're very important. I would say I'm very blessed to have the coaches I have right now, especially my head coach. He's really a God first person and a community person, and especially my OC. He never says no when I want to watch film. He never says no when I want to do extra, especially on the field. And I would say my DC, I asked him, can we watch film? Like, because I want to know, because I'm always seeking to learn more. So I asked my DC, can we watch film? Because I want to know how a DC mind works. like how they react when we do stuff. So we've been watching film and doing Zoom meetings when we're in quarantine. And I would say, especially Coach Underwood, our strength conditioning coach, he never says no when I want to do extra. Like I say, I'll text him like, "Can we go at two today?" He said, "Let's go." And I'll just pick up all my receivers and all my especially all my receivers and running backs, and I just tell them, "Come on."
Now, I'll tell you, you present some good height for a quarterback, don't you?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Height is what?
Height is key.
Height is key.
What's
And what's your height?
6'5", six
Wow.
five and a half.
You're going to be seen over some pretty tall linemen. You survey the field a little bit, right?
Yep.
I love that.
Exactly.
That had to be what Boise State saw in you, especially when it came down to making, offering you and then you making that
hmm
commitment. Um, I think the thing is too is there's a lot to be said when it comes to the quarterback position. You have to really understand what the defense is doing. There's a lot
Have
of
to.
looks that you see, and so
Yes.
film is so important, isn't it?
Yes. I would say you have to spend probably at least an hour a day. At least an hour a day going over film. You got to know the tendencies of each player. You got to know what they're doing on this formation, this and that formation. You got to know a lot. And what our coach says, you got to put the hand in the barn before Friday. If you do it Friday morning, watch film Friday morning, that's way too late. That's way too late. You should use Friday morning as a refresher, but I would say you got to crank out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You got to crank out as much film. Even like when you're done in class, you're done with homework, watch film on your phone. You got huddle on your phone. So that's what I do. And me and my receivers, we have a group chat. We just screen record a play and like look at this corner, look how he does when we go trips.
Nice. Uh, Texas swoosh, 7-on-7.
hmm
Hey, tell me
Yep.
about what that 7-on-7 means for you, your development, Taylen, and how fun was that?
Man, it was a lot of fun, especially going to Houston. I would say it helps. It especially helps the QB um, with his reads and going faster, and especially if you use 7-on-7 right with your footwork, especially helps your footwork. And it's just a whole lot of fun. You're with your friends. You might not go to the same school, but it's always fun to be with your team.
And outside the games, had a chance to see you at End Zone 7-on-7
hmm
in Houston at the Woodlands. Tell
Yep,
me what that experience was, and how fun was that to participate in End Zone 7-on-7? You got to see a lot of different teams come from South
I
Florida
did.
Express, Truth, Prime, Deal
Yep.
Sanders team. I mean, there was a lot of different talent. California teams. Tell me what that was like, that experience.
Oh, it's great. You're competing against the best of the best. You get to tell where you're at, especially in the nation. Like if you go out there, didn't do that well, gotta go home, get in the lab, and start working. So it was great. It was great to compete. It was great to see where you're at, and I would just say it was just the camaraderie that we built there was crazy. It was so much fun, especially in between, well, of course, the game and celebrating, and in between games. So I'll just say that,
And you get to see how teams do it differently, how they celebrate,
yeah,
how
yeah,
they compete. I mean, there's some, South Florida Express bringing the
yeah,
boom
exactly.
box.
I was about to
They're
say
like,
that. Yeah,
dum, dum, dum.
yeah.
It's a lot of difference when you're talking about the experience that you had there. Would you recommend End Zone 7-on-7?
I would recommend it to anybody, especially it's a whole lot of media there to be seen. So I would definitely recommend End Zone.
And how are your coaches? Because there's coaching at Lewisville High School, but then there's coaching that are different coaches at Tech
hmm
Swoosh. How did that go, and how would that relationship go with your coaches there, and teaching you a lot of different fundamentals?
I was fortunate enough to um play in an offense that's similar to it. So a lot of concepts that we was running, we ran at Lewisville. Of course, there's some different, but and especially my receivers um, played for Swoosh too, some of them. So we was getting that chemistry down too when we would practice and when we would play. So I would say that I was blessed to have that.
COVID-19, my friend, has just been wow. Uh,
Yeah.
that's all we can say. Face mask, social distancing, hand sanitizing stations. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been just ridiculous and unprecedented that what it's done to the student athlete, and really going forward, what that that landscape kind of looks like. Tell me what you've been able to do during COVID-19 and participating drills and doing what you can to kind of stay in shape, stay in on the same mental state as far as a QB and performing well. Tell me what that's been like for you.
It's been a little different, but it's been it's been a blessing and a curse. I would say it's been you had a lot of time to yourself, especially in quarantine. So I had a lot of time to watch film, throw to my net, really work on my mechanics, really breaking down my throwing. And I would say it's really built, I would say camaraderie because I would carpool my receivers and we'll throw at a park because our school was closed. So, and but the curse is we couldn't see everybody. I couldn't see my whole line. I would text them, check up on how they're doing. I couldn't see my defense. But I'll say it's a blessing and a curse. It's a little different with the mask too, because we're out, we get to work out now at the school. So when we're resting, we got to pull up the mask, and we're on the sidelines. We got to be 6 feet apart, and it's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of in this. It's the new norm now, and sometimes
Hmm.
we used to be able to give a pound or a handshake. Now
Yep.
it's elbows.
The elbows. Yep. It's
So
elbows.
it's been thrown us for a loop. Well, hey, I tell you, what's your GPA academically, Taylen?
My GPA is at 3.8.
Nice. You're killing it in the classroom, my friend. You're not
Yes,
playing.
sir.
Take
I'm
no.
not playing. I'm not playing.
Well, we have here on with us Taylen Green. He's a quarterback, GPA 3.8. Wow. And he's a class of 2021 at Lewisville High School in Dallas, Texas.
Yes,
I
sir.
tell you, it's been a pleasure to have you on our show, Taylen. We got to know you. And what is it like to go through the recruiting process? Tell me a little bit about that, what that recruiting process was like. And now you made your commitment to Boise State.
Especially with the corona, it's been a little different. Virtual tours and Zoom calls, but I loved it. It was a little different. The only thing that sucked was you really couldn't visit the campus and go in the facilities. But I took a visit to Boise about 3 weeks ago. I just walked the campus. I really couldn't go in the facilities, but it was different. The coaches couldn't even see you. So it's a little different, but at least I know where I'm going, and I'm 100% ready to play in the blue field.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Carpool Nation is looking forward to having you. I know that.
Yes, sir. I'm
Um,
excited.
yeah, I bet you are. So I tell you, it's been a pleasure to have you on our show, Taylen. Thank you so much for being a part of this on Outside the Games. Again, we talk about the player and the person, the student athlete,
Hmm.
and break it down. So we appreciate having you on our show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. But we're not done. We have this thing called the Quick Blitz, my friend. A little addition
Oh,
to get to know you a little bit more. Boise State wants to get to know you more. Lewisville already knows you. So let's kind of peel back the layers a little bit. Favorite food, my friend?
pasta, any type of pasta.
Favorite dessert?
Cake.
Apple or Android?
Vanilla cake. Vanilla cake.
Vanilla cake. He made it very clear. There's a certain kind
Yeah.
of cake. It's that. Apple or Android, and why?
Apple. Because I would say FaceTime, emojis.
Favorite car to drive if you could drive one, or SUV?
Mercedes.
Okay. Favorite sneaker to wear?
Nike Air Max.
Favorite cleat to wear?
Uh, Nike Untouchable.
Last movie you just saw?
Glory.
If you could go to a destination spot anywhere in the world, my friend, where would it be?
Probably Ireland, Jamaica, probably.
Favorite musical artist? There's a number of them, I'm sure. But what is your favorite?
J. Cole.
Okay. Well, we know Travis Scott is not too far away. That's Houston, baby. He's around there. Let's take it seriously on a couple things. One is, if you were running late somewhere, Taylen, and you had to let somebody know something, hey, where I'm at, I'm on my way, would you call or text, and why?
Honestly, I would text.
Quicker.
I would text because, yes, quicker.
But you're on your way. When Taylen says that, hey, I'm on my way, you're on your way.
I'm on my way. Yes.
There you go.
Quick text.
So tell me this, a little serious point. A lot of things are happening in the world today. And we know with George Floyd, we know that the social landscape, judicial landscape, economic landscape, coronavirus pandemic. If you could change one thing in the world, Taylen, what's that one thing and why? You had an impact.
Oh man. Say it again.
If you had an impact in something that you could change, one thing in the world today, what would that be?
I would say the Black Lives Matter movement, because especially, I forgot to say my role model, Martin Luther King. I love how he stands up, even in the face of adversity. Love that about him. So
it's approach, right?
That.
There was approach of nonviolence.
Exactly, nonviolence, exactly.
Right. And I have one last question for you. So this is going to be a thing what you like best, okay?
Okay.
Would Taylen Green like to be in 120-degree heat in his shoulder pads and his football equipment? Or would he rather be on Outside the Game show?
Outside the Game show.
There you go. Exactly. I tell you, Taylen, it's been a pleasure to have you, my friend. People got to know you a little bit better. We appreciate you taking the time for us here at Outside the Games. We're all about the student athlete, and it's all over.
Yes, sir.
We look at all the student athletes all over the country. So we appreciate you very much. We wish you your best. In class of 2021, my friend, quarterback out of Lewisville High School. Guy stands 6'5", and man, is he killing the classroom at 3.8 GPA. GPA is going to look a little bit different. There's online classes now, I know.
Yep.
You're having to adjust to that. But I tell you, we thank you so much for being on our show. And I tell you, give our love and greetings back to Lewisville High School. And we know that they're going to support you and do all their best for you, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.